Yo.
Check, check, 1, 2, check.
Check, check, 1, 2. Blessed love.
You there?
Yeah, mama, there. You hear me?
Yeah, man. Me hear you loud and clear, brother.
Okay. Much love and respect, my G.
You know, sir.
Yeah, man. Ready anytime you're ready.
So first of all, me have beef with you, man.
Why? What that now?
Why it take so long, brother?
Sorry, my brother. Yo, up and down. Go from a bag of traveling me I keep up with from one day, man. I me just get for settle down now. Long time me I going to the studio, everything. So me did a deal with some family thing where my sister and her college thing and help her to move her thing them, and my mother I leave New York, so I just a bag of up and down. That's why you see me? So but we're there, you know, nothing before it's time, right?
Yeah, man.
You know? Yeah.
You know why me say so? Because Kelisa, a big fan of the show.
Yeah, man, a big show, man. She tell me to, man. She tell me, man, a serious thing, man. Yeah, man. Me's a big fan myself.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
So we're in a lockdown, people, and you know the lockdown. The lockdown itself can't stop this man. You know, say East Coast, West Coast, Africa, Caribbean, Broadway, North Side, South Side. The Gideon can't stop the man called Keznamdi, aka the man who saved his father's name. People,
yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Keznamdi is on the line. We're zooming this week. We're talking about the new album, Bloodline. And of course, it's a pleasure, it's an honor to have you on the podcast, Kez.
Yeah, man. Respect every time. It's definitely an honor myself, and we give thanks for sharing the platform and bridging the gap, you know what I mean? Because we need to bridge this gap between Africa and Jamaica, you know? So we give thanks for ones like you where I make the connection and I reach out and I play the music and I share the music, because Africa is where this music need to be, you know? That is where the narrative relate to, you know what I mean? Enough artists always run down America. Yes, America is important because we have enough people over here, but we need to take more leaps towards Africa, you know what I mean? Because that's how the music make for, you know?
Yes, I.
Yeah. So we give thanks for sharing the platform and connecting and collaborating. We need more things like this, you know?
Yeah, man. You know, say, I mean, like how you say, the man can't feel lock down the Les Reggae Invasion podcast like him name Tupac and Biggie.
Yeah, man, we have to lock down the place, man. We have to lock down the city, you know? You know, see the city locked. So we have to lock it down, you know?
Yes,
and
I.
And a Corona lock it down, you know, reggae music.
You know, say?
Yeah, man.
Yes, let me kick off the interview with when you hear the name Bloodline, first thing that come to your mind.
Bloodline, the first thing that come to my mind is the next generation. You know what I mean? The next generation. Or what are we doing to set the thing right for the next generation? So them don't have to figure out the things them we have to figure out. Because enough of the problems where our generation face is problems that happened centuries ago, and we have to deal with them now. You know what I mean? So whenever I think about Bloodline, I think about the next generation to come. Yeah.
Wicked. 11 tracks, 3 features. Just take us to the album and how you're feeling so far about the project, brother.
Yeah. Well, you know, we have 11 tracks on the album. You know, the first track, we start off with Skyline Drive. You know, and the reason why we intro the song with that is because that's where I come from. That's where I was born and raised in Jamaica, on outskirts of Kingston in the hills and valleys. You know, and in Skyline Drive is a very interesting community because right there, the poor live there, the rich live there, the middle class live there, and enough Rasta people live there too. And there's a lot of talented artists and a lot of hopeful people in the community doing a lot of positive things. So we want to showcase where we come from and showcase this part of Jamaica, which is Skyline Drive, Skyline Levels, you know what I mean? And also Skyline Drive and Skyline Levels is a very cultural hub for Jamaica right now, you know. In fact, they're dubbing it the Reggae Mountain because on that hill there's a lot of great music coming out from there. You know, we have we have two reggae venues up there called Skyline Levels, and then we have another one called Dub Club, which there's a lot of culture coming out of these places. You know what I mean? So it's a very important part of what's going on culturally right now from the reggae and conscious movement part of Jamaica. You know, and when you think of some of the first performances of Kabaka Pyramid, Kelisa, Keznamdi, Chronics, Protege, Dre Island, Jesse Ryle, the list goes on. It's right in this little reggae mountain where we did perform and begin a lot of these early shows where now people doing arenas and stadiums. You know what I mean? And this was the beginning cultivation ground of all of this talent. So, you know, that is why we did want to intro the project with Skyline Drive, kind of showing what this community is about. And then the next track now is called Justice. And Justice now is just one of them songs that will forever be relevant, you know, and it's basically a very powerful track, a song that I'm very proud of how it came about, you know, in terms of the whole production of it. Like, it started on a guitar and we built it all the way up to with all these great powerful musicians. We recorded a bunch of the music while we were on tour for this track. You know, and I really loved how everything came together for that record, you know. And Justice is also the artist who is singing the chorus. His name is Errol Edwards, and him come from Skyline Levels as well. He's an artist from Skyline Levels, so it was a great introduction for him as an artist as well. And you know, it just have a very old sound. And before all of this madness did happen with the whole Black Lives Matter and everything, this was this was before that, you know, and it coming like it did make for the narrative with what
relevant right now,
you know, and it's relevant now, and I see it being relevant for a very long time, because with whoever is in power of this great world right now, they need to hear these songs, you know what I mean? So I am looking for justice, you know. So that's why we did. That's the second song.
Sticking on that song, Kez, let me take you back a bit. Because when I had this song for the first time, and then towards the end, there's that melody and that little like dub effect. Then you marry it with some creaking ship that plays out perfectly. It kind of reminds me about you know, the way them take the black man from Africa, put them in a ship, and them ship them all the way to work for the colonial masters.
At the exact mood where we did want to create. You know, when you hear the chains and you hear the ocean, you hear the old ships, them a creek. We all get some old ships a creek in the audio. So it's crazy how you're telling me that right now, because I deliberately did that. And the fact that sonics and sound can create a visual is a powerful thing, you know, and that you're seeing it with your ears.
Yeah, man.
You know,
what sound and power better?
Yeah, man. So that was intentional to create that mood and that feeling. When you hear the wholeness in the Justice record, you're supposed to feel that energy. So yeah, man. Give thanks.
But Keznamdi, this track is also personal to you in relation to Coral Gardens Massacre, better.
Definitely. So we actually we did a film. We shot a film. We're actually working on the audio for it right now, and we're hoping to shoot it out in August. And the film is actually about Coral Gardens, what happened in 1963 in Jamaica. It was an event dubbed Coral Gardens Bad Friday, where it was a massacre against all the Rastafarians in Jamaica.
Yes, sir.
You know, where the Prime Minister at the time who was named Bustamante, issued an order to bring in all Rastas, dead or alive. And they would bring in, they tortured a lot of Rastas, they brought in the Rastas, imprisoned them, they cut off their dreadlocks and totally disrespect them, you know. And I feel like this, we made sure we shot a film around this justice record to showcase this, because the government really tried to hide this history underneath and shove it underneath the carpet. You know what I mean? And there's no real, they don't teach it in schools. They don't, it's something that's just hidden in history. So I wanted to create a piece of art that really show that to show that part of that history, so it never go down unburied, and it will always be remembered for the next generation to come. In fact, Rastas are loved so much outside of Jamaica, where because of the peace and the love and the positivity what Rastaman brings.
Yes, sir.
Where people would never believe that Jamaicans consider Rasta the filth of society and the dirt, like the everyday day to Jamaican, they look down on Rastafarians. Them say them smell, them dreadlocks dirty, them smoke drugs. I remember growing up in a time where Rasta wasn't cool. No, Rasta is the cool thing. But I remember growing up where I wasn't able to even go to school for 2-3 weeks straight, because my mother had to go down to the Ministry of Education to try and fight for me, because they wanted to cut my hair, because most of the schools in Jamaica are Catholic. So they didn't allow you to come with dreadlocks and things. So it's no fight Rasta get, enough oppression Rastafari get in Jamaica. And the world need to know this as well, because because most people think that Rasta is love in Jamaica, but it's not, you know. And this is why we decided to create a film around justice, you know. And I'm very excited for the world to see, because it's a very, very powerful visual.
We can't wait for that, brother.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
But I want to tie the song Justice to another song on the album, The State of Emergency, in relation to what's happening around the world right now.
Yeah.
How you feel about that?
Yeah, man. Well, you know, when I recorded that was one of the last songs that I recorded for the album, you know. And at the time, Jamaica is still in a state of emergency, but at the time Jamaica just issued a state of emergency because there was so much crime.
Yes, sir.
You know, and I felt like we can't start crime from state of emergency now go fix crime. You know what I mean? We have to start with the baby. We have to start that's where crime starts. You know what I mean? The issues don't start at the do not cross line. When the youth done dead already and war done kick off already. That's not when we fix the problem. We have to start at the home.
Yes,
at the baby stage, at the infant stage. So that's when I sang a song now where, you know, my grandmother was telling me how much in her time she never used to have to worry about walking out in the street and never have to worry about so much murder and them things there where I go on now. You know, and now the world changing, and it's a very dangerous world that we live in right now. You know, so state of emergency, even again, is even more prevalent right now, because look what going on right now is the whole world is in a state of emergency with everything what going on right now. From is a biological warfare right now. It's a whole state of emergency. So it kind of weird, because like so much things where we did singing at the album, we never really know how relevant it would have been right now. When we dropped the album about 2 months ago,
yes,
and 2 months later, the world totally changed. And now the album is a soundtrack for what are going on right now. You know what I mean? So it's crazy times, a very unprecedented times that we're in right now. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that song, what was the intention with having your grandma take you to a deplorable Kingston? Was it just a planting, or because I kind of like the storytelling into it and how your grandma plays a role in this?
Yeah, well, you know, the grandma really represents the generation before us. You know, when we say grandma, it really represents that generation when Jamaica was more of and when we say Jamaica is just a representation of all the countries them.
Yes,
the third world countries them where I got through this, and we use Jamaica as the example.
Yes,
You know what I mean? But really and truly, when you say, carry my granny around a Kingston City and she don't really like what she see. She remember when she used to feel safe, now a state of emergency. Grandson, why we can't get peace in the place? Grandson, why we can't get peace in the place? Me say we no fear for living and no fear cause the bad boy in a shootout. No, that nah go fix things. Innocent body a drop a ground, some little boy we need to reap out. You know what I mean? So basically we are talking about you know what I mean? So basically we just attack is a conversation with grandma and the next generation. Where a lot of these conversations need to happen between the younger generation and the older generation to bridge that gap, to figure out where is the problem. Because it cannot be that every generation can face the same problem. That is the definition of insanity. When you keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Now
clearly what we're doing as a country, as a world, as a nation, something not wrong. I am no politician. I don't have the solution. But one thing I know for a fact, we cannot keep doing what we're doing now. We need some kind of reform for address crime. Because crime stem out of poverty. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and to be poor is a crime. You know what I mean? That is where the crime starts, really. So really, state of emergency is that dialogue, that conversation between your grandmother. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
My favorite track on the album is Bloodline with Mortimer.
Yes.
So Alikobad hinted to me that the track was initially called A Child's Love. Just tell us about this track, Kez.
Yeah, so I had this record for I would say about 2-3 years, just on my hard drive, and we just more time when the song is not finished, you have your little titles on your Pro Tools sessions, where just for help you remember where it is so you can find it, and it was called A Child's Love, and at that time it was very young. Mortimer wasn't even recorded on the song. I just had 2 verses on the rhythm. And then we linked up with Mortimer. Mortimer has always been a good brethren of mine from long time. He's somebody where live near around Skyline right there. So he live up in a garden town in Jamaica, where it's very close to where I come from as well. So because of that, when I found out that Mortimer lives so close to me, we were linking every day. I think within that week, me and him link up at least 3-4 times for the day, and we were just vibing on the guitar, and there was enough different songs from the album I was playing with him, playing to him, and then when I played him the A Child's Love idea, he really loved that one, and then we started to vibe it in the studio, and the idea that we wanted for the chorus is that we wanted it to feel like a lullaby. Something that you can sing a baby to sleep. So you say, sleep peaceful, my child. I'll be by your side. I'll comfort and protect you. I'll teach you what is right. A new day has arrived. Real love can't deny. My DNA in your bloodline, a new soul that Jah will guide. So it's like a lullaby, it's it's supposed to soothe the soul, and that's when he had the word in there, bloodline. And at that time, after recording the song, that's when we were hearing the album now. We had about 15 to 17 songs basically close to finish. And that's when now we started to say, all right, this is an album and we need a name. And then when we heard Bloodline, I say, yo, that word they just very visual, and this song is about parenting. I think that is where the biggest issue lie in, is parenting. I think if we have stronger homes where mommy and daddy is very present, and if we have stronger homes, that's more love for our youth. And with stronger homes, you have a better community. And with a better community, you have a better nation. And with better nations, you have a better world. So if you see now the root problem is at home. So that's why the title track for the album is Bloodline. And then now, later on in my journey now, it was very mystical. I was having a lot of dreams and enough little revelation did reach me where it was a very mystical time. And my empress, my woman, my queen come to me one day and she said, yo, you're going to be a father, you know? So I never even with this in mind, titling the album Bloodline, I never even knew I was going to become a father.
Yes, sir.
And my son, the due date that we got for my son, which was I think the 22nd, was actually when the 22nd of January was actually the day we submitted the album on the 22nd of January 2020. But then my son was born January 23rd, 2020. So I did get 2 babies born one time, you know.
Yes, I.
And it was a crazy time for me because it's like, again, this wasn't a plan, this wasn't a big marketing scheme, this was nothing like that. It was just, sometimes I feel like them things are just right for me. Like the song just write itself. The marketing plan, how we are going to roll out, everything just writes itself before me even think about it. Because it come together too perfectly and timely, you know, because I had this record, as I tell you, for like 2-3 years. And the record never come out till my son born. You know, so it's a crazy thing. It was a very mystical time, and I did have enough little deep dreams because I'm a dreamer and a mystic, so I did have enough little dream a forward to me. And when my woman come and tell me that, it was a crazy thing for me, you know, and there was Bloodline born, you know, the next generation. So we give thanks, you know.
Yes, I want to take you back to that period, man, because I know, like, right before the release of the album, then Jamaica reports the first case of coronavirus. Kingston City goes into a lockdown, and definitely around the world, most cities begin to go into a lockdown. So the next song I want to talk about is City Lock.
Yeah.
Because the lyric video almost closing to 1 million mark, and the fans want the video case.
Yeah.
Has this song surprised you? Has this song surprised you by how it has been received?
Definitely, City Lock has been our fastest ever rising song. You know,
yes,
what I mean? And you have to understand, I'm an independent label. I'm not signed. You know.
Yes,
and So us rising at this speed is very, you know, as a team, we're not that we're hung up over numbers, but the fact that all of this is happening organically and naturally is a very good sign for us that we're, as an independent label, we're on the right track. We have a lot of work to do still and a lot of groundwork to do, but with the success of this song, and it's definitely becoming a favorite in Jamaica and so far out other places as well for the summer. You know, as you say, it's about to hit the 1 million mark, and we've never reached the 1 million mark so quickly before. You know, it's usually take us like at least damn near a year to reach 1 million. You know what I mean? And this is the first time we're about to reach 1 million in like 2 months. So it's definitely a great indication that the songs and the music is impactful, and the people definitely tuning in, you know. And what's crazy is that our whole rollout plan was that we're going to drop the album and head out right on tour right after. We had a big world tour plan.
Yes,
you know, where we're going to do all the major festivals. We're going to hit right back on the road, do the whole of the US. We had a bunch of Carribean dates booked. We were in the motion of locking down the UK dates, and with going to UK, we're supposed to go to Africa. So we did have enough things in store for bringing the album. Because as an independent label, we not have links like that, you know. We not have links to get on the big popular Spotify and big all them big thing there. We not have them big thing there. So what we have to do is guerrilla style. So we have to take the album to every city physically. So we have to go to, when we go Kenya, and we bring the album physically in my hand. We bring it to Kenya with me, and we bring it to the Kenyan people. We bring it to Ethiopia. We bring it to Jamaica. We bring it to all of the states, them in the US. We have to physically guerrilla do it. So when I flew down to Jamaica, me and my woman with my son, because my son did just born and we did want my Jamaican family meet him and everything kind of born in America. And we forward like 3 days and we're supposed to spend like a good 3 weeks there. We're going to shoot a bunch of videos for the album and then head out on the tour. And then we dropped the Thursday we dropped the album was when we were looking at the news that they canceled the NBA, they canceled the Premier League, they canceled everything, you know, and then we were like, yo, so everybody we were getting a bunch of DMs, we're getting a bunch of emails if the shows were still going to continue. And then that Friday is the day that we dropped the album, and that Friday everything locked down. Jamaica was locking down, and we had to leave out of Jamaica very quickly because my empress did have to leave Jamaica because she couldn't afford to stay there for that long. So we did have to leave out of there. So it was just it was a whole revamp for our rollout, you know, where we had to take that blow and move forward, you know what I mean? Because everything that we had planned literally just went down the drain, you know. However, I think it was a great time for music. Whether or not it's going to get all these big shows and everything, I think it was a good time for people to get some new, refreshing music where when they're in them quarantine, they actually can listen to the song in its entirety and the album, you know, in its entirety because they have the time to, from track 1 to track 11. And the album was designed that way. It was designed for you not to skip. It was designed for you to play from track 1 to track 11 because we had like 20 to 25 songs to choose from, and we chose 11 because we never want anybody to skip any song. You just play from track 1 to track 11. So, and then now we dropped City Lock, and we never know, so the city did really gonna get locked, and it really get locked, you know. So the city get locked, and we dropped the Tory, and we were supposed to shoot the video. Even we were supposed to shoot the video one day, but I don't know if you've been reading in the papers what's been going on with Tory, but Tory in a little situation right now where he's locked up right now, you know. So we couldn't even shoot that video. We're supposed to shoot it recently in LA when we were there. So he's locked up right now. So hopefully he can get out very soon. And hopefully him and his team can figure out a way to get out. So, but whether or not we have to shoot a video for it because the song need a video, as you say, you know.
It does.
But it in plans, you know. So yeah, man.
I want to talk about working with Tory Lanez because he's signed to a label and you are an indie artist. How was it difficult to get the papers out, the signings? Because it sometimes it take a while for these artists to collaborate with the indie artists.
Very difficult. It's been like we had this record for almost 2 years, and you imagine having a record like City Lock for 2 years. There's many times that we tried to release it, and every time that we tried to release it, the label was giving us a problem, you know what I mean? And like, because the paperwork, it wasn't signed off, and, you know, I have to really I send out maximum respect to Tory Lanez's team and his management to help us and guide us along the way to make sure that we get it released, you know, because it wasn't easy, you know. And then it was set to be released like 2 times before, and then like 2 days before, we even submitted it to iTunes, Apple, and everything. And then 2 days before, the label would get back to us and say we can't release it. And then we would have to call back the Apple team and tell them to take it down. And it was a lot of chaos. And then we finally got to release it. I think it was February was the date, in February, the month of February.
Yeah.
And we just run with it. And with that, again, we give thanks for Tory Lanez for making this happen. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you know, him is a big artist and signed to big label, and working with an independent artist at this level is not an easy thing because him have bigger fish to fry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
so we give thanks, but it for sure you that the Canada and the Toronto link up with Jamaica is a very powerful and important one. So that's why I know that the team did make sure it did happen, because Jamaica and Tory Lanez, Jamaica, Tory Lanez is a cousin of Jamaica. So
yes, I.
so we give thanks, for making it as hard as it was. Him did make it easy for us, So we give thanks. Big up Buck, big up Shatter Life, Terry for making this happen. Yeah, man.
Big up. Kez, I know it's weird to drop an album and not be able to tour and perform it. But how do you feel about not being able to sing people's reaction to the music?
Boy, is a lover is a nice thing, but it's not a good thing at the same time.
I know.
Because it's nice to create memories. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is sitting in and listening to the album every day, and then Keznamdi is coming to your city to perform it. It's always a great feeling, and a great vibe, because now you get to hear the songs live. But again, I think this is the first time I've ever dropped an album or a project and not gone on tour right after. Because that's usually how I do my thing. I drop an album, I'm going to hit the road and do like 46 cities in like 50 days and craziness like that. And this is the first time that we're not doing that, And I think for me as a creative, it's beautiful for me because usually my creativity get cut right away, because I have to hit the road and it's not as easy to record on the road because all the movement, But this is the first time I've recorded an album and went right back into the studio again, So I'm right back in the studio. I never have to break the creative energy and the flow. So I'm making new records as we speak, I have a lot of features coming out. I have a lot of very big features coming out that I'm very excited for. I can't wait for those records to drop.
Weekend.
And we're in the studio, So that is the exciting part. But however, I also feel like I think the anticipation for the first show for Bloodline is going to be a big one because
I feel so
long. It's been so long that I know that once we announce the 2021 tour, it's going to be even more bigger, So we have built up the anticipation for it, and we have a bunch of new music videos for a lot of the songs on the album because now we have the time to shoot it. So it's a different way, but I think everything happens for a reason, and now it come down to the music, You can't go on with the antics and controversy. It come down to the music that you're putting out now, So I'm excited for that.
The next song I'm going to talk about is Chilumpeng, and I want to tie it to the Kenyan situation because Kenya just recently have the first Rastafari lawyer, and we know Keznamdi as the ganja man. So let's talk about the marijuana offenders who are still locked up despite the legalization of the herb in most places, because most Kenyans have been asking the lawyer to speak about releasing our brothers and sisters who are locked up because of marijuana possession or marijuana related charges, and then legalize the herb as well in Nairobi or in Kenya. What do you feel about this track and just tying into that as well?
Yeah, man, it's something that we need to hurry up and change. It cannot be no long decision making because the world don't see the greatness of marijuana already. It took the world to see it some time, but now marijuana is a legal place. It's a legal plant. It's not an illegal plant anymore. And you have people locked up in prison for years just for a spliff. And this is, I can't imagine how much life get mashed up because a little spliff. And it's not just release of people out of prison, but when them release out of prison, them need some kind of compensation for all of the hurt. And even for Rastafari needs some kind of compensation for all of the hurt and the damage that they have been inflicted because of them being scrutinized for this plant, marijuana. And that's why me as a man, I always sing about marijuana and ganja because it's a fight. Because the fight starts with the music first, because it's vibrations, And now we reach a special place where now the world is starting to see it, and it's because of the generations before us of how much them did sing and use the plant unapologetically. You know what I mean? And ones like Peter Tosh would be so happy right now to know that the next generation can burn her on our stage if him want, you know, and
yeah, man.
that is definitely one of the things them we need to hurry up and change, because you have people in jail that children don't have their fathers just because of a little spliff, and these fathers were the breadwinners in the household. So we need to get them out of prison ASAP, and there's petitions, there's a lot of movements in place right now that anybody listening to this interview, just do some research and it's there. Like you can find a way to help, even with just being at home. You can find a way to help, you know. And Chilumpeng now is actually a song written about my brethren in Jamaica called Jamel. And Jamel is a man who work really hard, you know, and actually him was telling me a story about on him job, on him 9 to 5 job, him always have to hide and smoke. You know, because the boss don't allow him to smoke on him break, you know. So every time him have to hide and smoke, you know. And really that's how it started, you know, when he was telling me that story. And for people who don't know, Chilumpeng is a chalice. It's a kind of pipe. It's a kind of pipe that Rastas use to smoke herb or to steam herb. And it's called a Chilumpeng pipe. So when you say, sip up my roots with my Chilumpeng, roots is also a drink that I drink. It's a fermented drink that gets mixed. It comes from a root. You can put all kind of healthy things in there, moringa, the list goes on. You know what I mean? So roots and the Chilumpeng is the formula for your airy feeling. You know, and really and truly, you know, Babylon has stressed me out. Can't get no rain in the drought, yeah. Brother, do not make the fire out, cause the chalawa a little heavy load. Boy, give me sativa spirulina. So, you know, we are say, give me the spirulina.
Yeah, man.
And the herb. That we love, yeah. And ganja will sweet you when you're broke and stressed out. So ganja is one of those stress relievers in the earth. You know, when you're broke and stressed out and you need a little time for yourself, you can use herb. And that is really the story of Chilumpeng, you know?
It's a vibe.
Yeah.
Now, I know the ladies will kill me if we don't talk about tracks like Morning Comes, Queen of the Ghetto, and Love Me Enough, man. These tunes, brother. The inspiration, man.
Yeah, man. Morning Comes Now is another record that I'm very proud on the album. I love how it came out. And I think actually the way how that record forward is probably the direction of the sonics and the sound that I'm probably going to go for in the next album, you know, because I really like the whole fullness of it, the acousticness of it.
Yeah,
it just feels very real, and it's just a couple of instruments. It's just 4 instruments being very impactful, you know. And Morning Comes, I was sick when I actually recorded that song, you know, and some of voice sound like butter, you know. And then now Queen and the Ghetto now is actually a hustler's anthem. If you listen to it keenly, that one is for the streets, for all of the hustlers them, but I sing it in a love story kind of way. And if you listen it keenly, it's just talking about somebody really who liberate themselves financially, figuring out, finding that financial freedom and helping everybody around them to attain that as well, to get financial freedom, because financial freedom is a very important part of evolution for mankind, because in this evolution as a human being, you have the two sides of the story, which is the spiritual side, which is within yourself, that growth of evolution, and the material. And it's very important that you can liberate yourself from a material perspective. And I'm not saying to be the richest person in the world, but it cannot be that people can't buy food, can't get food when you can plant seeds in the ground. You know what I mean? That is a different kind of wealth. You know, so it's finding that financial freedom, and that's what Queen of the Ghetto is a hustler's anthem. You know what I mean? And then Love Me Enough now. Love Me Enough is a vibes, you know. It was one of the quickest songs I recorded on the album. it was like recorded very like within 15, 20 minutes. It was just like on the go, just melody, just freestyle and vibes. And actually that record was actually created for Conscience to sing the verse and
Wow.
Sean Paul to sing the choruses. And that's what that record was actually recorded, made in mind for Conscience to sing the verse and Sean Paul for the chorus. And I was trying to reach out to their teams, and it never happened. You know what I mean? Sometimes bringing two giants like that together in one place is not an easy thing to do, you know, especially being an upcoming artist, you know what I mean? And but the song did bad, you know what I mean? And we did love it, and the vibe and the energy, and we just did bring it on the album, you know, we did put it on the album because we could not put it on the album because of the energy it did have. So yeah, man, that I love me enough.
The next track I want to talk about is Victory. When you're winning, it's a sweet story.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That song now, special song, you know. I think that song is gonna be one of those songs that will forever be a part of culture. You know,
I agree.
It might not be the number one in the US on the Billboard charts or whatever. All these big charts what them have and thing. But one thing we know for sure, it will always be a part of our life as a soundtrack for our lives. Victory is a very special song, very spiritual, very motivational, and it featured my brother Chronix. And actually, the story of that song now was that I had those verses already, and I was imagining Jack Yor to sing the choruses.
Wow.
Right? And that is when that was like about 4 years ago.
Yeah,
I
man.
called Chronix. I'm gonna say Chronix, me have a bad tune here where more sing to more Jack Yor sing, but more when him hear it for the first time, him can't deny it. I want it sound nice, and I well want you forward to the studio and demo it to me. So within 2 hours, 3 hours, him forward over to the studio, and we did have I did pen out a little bit of the chorus already, and then he came in and he heard it, and you don't know, Chronix is him put him genius on it and helped develop the melody, and we recorded that chorus within like 30 minutes. Harmonies, everything. And then when he was leaving the studio, he said, Kez, if Jack you're not sing it, leave my verse on it, you know? I say, all right, my general. And then the Jack Yor thing never work out. So I call back Chronix now, and I say, Chronix, it look like a you know. And then him say, yo, I want forward to the studio and record it over. I say, nah, sir. Because it was a demo.
Yeah,
so
man.
you wanted to record it over to perfect it. But just the mood of it and the feeling of it. I never want to record it over because you can't replicate that. You can't. That is something, is just a one-time thing, you know. So actually, the record that is out now, Victory, is actually a demo, and we actually remastered it for the album. So yeah, man, Victory, man, and then we closed out the album with Victory because it was definitely a victory for me, because Bloodline was the first. I think the first two projects that I did were 2 EPs, you know, and the first one was called Bridging the Gap EP, and the next one was the Skyline Levels Volume 1 EP. And these were both projects that I was doing a lot of experimenting with myself, trying to find my sound as an artist. What do I bring to the table? There's so much music out there being made. What is it that Kez bring to the table now?
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? And I think a lot of those songs, they weren't intentional. They happened by accident. So I started recording it with a vision, and it didn't happen how I wanted it to happen in my mind. You know, but it still came out good, like songs like God Design and Father Protect Me. These are songs that still forward out, and it was still became good records. But the Bloodline album now, everything on that album was intentional. Everything that you hear on that album was how I envisioned it in my mind. And that's how I know I was slowly mastering my sound and my sonics and what I bring to the table from all influences that I listen to. Like I listen to a lot of the Marleys, Damian Marley, Stephen Marley, are some of my god in our music, you know, and you know, a lot of people when they hear Keznamdi, they hear those influences. They hear the Super Cats. They hear a little bit of Dennis Brown in my voice. You hear a little different vibes and energy. At the end of the day, I think this was the first time Bloodline now developed as an artist where you can hear what I bring to the table. What does Keznamdi sound like? And I'm very happy that I achieved that. And that's why we close out the album with victory, you know, because it was really a long process. You know, it was a lot of different recording. We were recording a lot on the road. It was trust me, it was a real victory for know that we finished this for 2020. Yeah.
I like how you say it was a real victory. It's only right now that we hail everyone who worked on the album, case, because I feel like it's so important. Because sometimes we kind of forget how to hail everyone who worked on the album, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. You know, and definitely, you know, a lot of other projects. You know, I never really listed myself as a producer. You know.
Yeah, man.
Because I don't underestimate that what it means to be a producer, you know. And you know, with this album, being the producer of this album, it was also a victory for me, and so my work that I'm very proud of, and it's definitely my best work to date that is released, you know. And yeah, man, I finally think that people hearing this album and just seeing the reception and it's over the internet, it brings me so much joy, you know, that it brings so much joy to other people. So, you know, it only means that more music, more.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But also, who is Keznamdi behind the studio desk, man, as a producer? I'd love to know that.
Yeah, man, majority of these works, you know, we worked with a lot of talented people. We had a lot of guest producers as well that we co-produce a lot of records with, like the great Mosiah.
Yeah, man.
Who is a very talented artist / producer. We worked with Suku, who is like the dancehall king. You know what I mean? We worked, when it come on to drums, you have to link Suku. You know, we worked with ones like Natural High, and then Trap Chat as well, who is based in LA. We work with a lot of talented musicians as well, who a lot of them in my band members and stuff. And then obviously I produce 95% of this album. And you know, it was really nice for no say, yo, start a project from scratch, and just to see how it developed from layer 1 to layer 2 to layer 3
Yeah,
to layer
man.
4 till it finished, and we work it up. And now it definitely is a liberating feeling, because my production skills started with, I wasn't getting no rhythms. There was nobody sending me no bad rhythm. Cause me was an unknown artist.
Yeah, man.
So nobody never really business about Keznamdi. So at that time I did have to go into Pro Tools, I did have to go into Ableton, I had to go into Fruity Loops and figure it out. Figure out how to make records that are powerful, you know. And yeah. So we're producing and actually we're doing a lot of production for a lot of people now, you know, especially since the album is done and it finished. There's a lot of people, you know, interested in working with me on a production level as well, you know. So it's definitely a joy for me, you know, to be behind the studio non-stop, whether I'm recording or just producing records, you know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, Walipa artists, when them put out a project, an honor from peers in the industry is always a great pat on the back. A Grammy or any award or recognition means a lot. Are we aiming a Grammy with the Bloodline?
Well, you know, we not run it down, you know. You know what I mean? That's a one thing for sure. We ain't running down no Grammy, but if the Grammy forward, we give thanks, because
yeah, man.
You see, recognition is a very important thing, you know. It's not that we're running down recognition, but it's very important to
when you
show
find
recognition to art and creatives, whether it's my work or just in general, you know. It's keys along the way to keep you motivated and keep you going, that your work is being recognized. So if we get a Grammy, it's a joy, man. It's a joy that we get it. You know what I mean? And yeah, if we get it, we get it. And And, you know, a lot of people been asking me about that lately, you know what I mean, on Twitter, and there've been a lot of people been mentioning it. And if it forward, and we're grateful for it.
Well, Walipa artists have said that the music is not getting the respect. For instance, at the Grammys, reggae music as a category is not televised, and most artists who are nominated for the awards do not even get a forefront seating at the awards. How can the music earn its respect, Keznamdi?
Yeah, man, it's a joke thing that, because you see the contribution that the genre reggae has done for the music industry is very big, because without reggae there would be no hip hop. You know, there would be no hip hop was born out of reggae music, you know, from the sound system culture.
Yeah, man.
So it's very crazy to me that reggae music, and even just the culture in itself of Jamaican reggae music and reggae music on a global level, it's you look how much people are take it up. You have ones like Drake, Rihanna, you know, Party Next Door, all of these, Justin Bieber, Ed Sheeran, all of these people are singing a lot of dancehall music and calling it a different name.
Yeah,
but
man.
it's still dancehall, you know. So I find it very pathetic that they don't, the Grammy committee doesn't show reggae music more love, you know. And you know, but remember saying, you know, a conscious music, you know, and there's an agenda out there for always stop conscious music.
Yes, I.
From being the forefront.
Yes, I.
You know what I mean? So we always have to know that we're in the middle of a war, you know? And that is one of the hurdles that we have to get over, to make sure that reggae is recognized. But one thing, you know, them cannot turn a blind eye to reggae music, you know. Because if you delete the reggae catalog, where would the world be? You know what I mean? Because in all your big, right now, you know, if you call Apple right now and Apple puts you on hold, is Bob Marley them a play on hold, you know. When they put the reggae music, is Bob Marley them a play. So you can't is reggae music them a use for all of them big campaigns. So even though them don't want to accept it, them can't neglect it, because it's something that is a force that is too powerful. And I think that this generation again now is coming up again. And you know, back in the day when Sean Paul and Shaggy them and Super Cat and the whole of that generation came, and Sizzla and Capleton, you couldn't turn a blind eye to it. And now with this generation, here comes another set of youths where signed to a lot of big, right now, you know, Protege, Lila Ike, all of them signed to some big label now, you know. You have ones like Coffee signed to big label, you know. Chronic signed to big label now, you know. So all of this is a very great thing. Shensia, who else signed to big label? Jada Kingdom, all of these great artists now. So it shows you that these labels clearly see that now it's time to start signing some of these artists and putting big budgets into their careers, you know what I mean? Because the music is so powerful and impactful. So now we're seeing that all these big industries are starting to invest into reggae again, which is a good sign for our generation, because about 3 years ago there was no big signings or big deals. The last big deal out of Jamaica was probably the Omi record, which was the Cheerleader record. That was the last big budget that was invested into reggae music. So we give thanks, you know what I mean? You can definitely see that there's a need for conscious music now, especially with what is going on. So obviously all these big white man and big industry big head them are going to spend money in it now, because they see it commercially viable, because there's a need for it. People want to hear conscious and positive music again because of all the craziness that is happening in the world. So you're going to see them start spend more money with we. And then nothing wrong. So we give thanks again, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So finally, what is on the horizon for Kez, and how can people, your fans in Kenya, gravitate to the music better?
Mambo VP Kenya.
Mambo
kidogo Kiswahili.
Big up.
Yeah, I've been to Kenya like 2 times, you know. I lived in Tanzania for 3 years, so Kenya is a second home for me, and we definitely as soon as this craziness is over, we're planning a Horn of Africa tour.
Karibu sana, karibu sana.
Asante sana, safi sana.
Yeah, asante.
Man. As they would say, njo hapa, you know? You know? Come here, come to Kenya, you know, we're coming. So I think what is on the horizon is obviously, you know, we have our tours rescheduled for 2021.
Yeah, man.
So we're doing the world tour. We have a lot of crazy features that I know that everybody's going to really full joy, and they're not going to expect these features. I cannot say the names as yet, but we have a bunch of features coming out. We have the film for Justice on the horizon coming any minute now. We're shooting a lot of videos in August for the album with some really crazy ideas. It's going to be crazy, and we're in the studio right now working on a new album as we speak. So yeah, more music, more shows, more vibes, you know, and that is what you can expect from Keznamdi for the next 10 to 20 years, you know.
Yeah, so, man.
Yeah.
Yo, Kez, plug in your social media as well.
Yeah, man, Keznamdi, you know. Anything that you use, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anything what you use, Keznamdi, Keznamdi, and once you type in that, you can find anything what you need to find. And also, if you want some of the exclusive stuff, go to keznamdi.net, 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 and that's my website where we have enough exclusive releases where that's where you get everything before the world get it, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, man. Big up to T. Big up the whole management, man, for making sure everything behind the scene is working.
Yeah. Yeah, man. T are the general, you know. We give
big
thanks
up T.
to a soldier like that. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. People, enough joy reasoning with Keznamdi. We look forward to more reasoning opportunities in the near future, man. One love, King. Blessings.
Yeah, man. Next time we are forward in studio. And we do a in-studio interview.
It's going to be a full joy.
Yeah, man. We are a full joy, man. And give thanks again for sharing the platform, my brother.
No. We give thanks, Keznamdi. We give thanks.
Honor. It's definitely an honor, you know.
It's one family, brother.
So, yeah, man, one family. So we give thanks and praises, yeah?
Yeah, man.
So more love and stay connected. And any new thing we'll let you know, and you don't know, brother. When the interview done, just send it to me so we can show it up on the socials as well.
Yes, I.
All right?
Yeah, man.
All right.
Blessings.
All right, my brother. More love. All right.
More love.